what's up guys? This is Jonathan Withem again from the Drum Lab, giving you the second installment on playing cajon. In the first lesson, we discussed basic 8th and 16th note grooves, focusing on our kick and snare tones. In this lesson, we're going to focus on fills. Now, drummers' setups vary. Some guys will have 1 tom, some guys will have 2, some guys will have 8. It just kind of depends on the style of music they're playing and what's needed for it. When playing cajon, we've stripped everything down, but we haven't necessarily lost as much ground as most people think. We can actually achieve tom tones on the front plate of our cajon. We can achieve the sounds of 2 toms or 6. So in doing that, the first thing to make sure you do, make sure you're comfy. Make sure you're grounded and you're sitting upright and you're sitting in a very comfy place on your cajon, and to a point where you can actually lift up your feet and almost shake them, okay? Next thing you're going to do is work on taking your left foot, your left leg, and focusing on the left foot. You're going to pull it up to the top of the cajon. Now this is something that, unless you've done it a lot, it might make you a little sore or uncomfortable. Make sure you just stretch out your leg before you try it. So the goal is to pull your leg up and sort of hold it there. So make sure you can do it for at least 5 seconds without completely shaking, okay? Once you've made sure you can hold that leg up there for a little while, the next step is making sure that you can put an equal amount of pressure on the front plate while you slide down. Now this part of it is very important to make sure that you are not wearing shoes and you're not barefoot. The rubber on your shoes, on the sole, or if you're barefoot, the friction will actually catch and will cause some really nasty sounds on the front plate. Make sure you're wearing socks. So as we pull up, we're going to just gently push in while we slide down. Again, the same amount of pressure, and just slide down. Try to go in as straight of a line as you can. The next thing to do, we talked about 8th and 16th note grooves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 8th notes, and then I'm going to play 16th notes. So when I'm playing 8th notes, what I mean is while I'm pushing in with this foot up here, I'm going to tap 8th notes on the front while I slide down. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing but with 16th notes, tapping with my right hand while sliding down. Some of you may have noticed that as I slid down with my foot, my right hand slightly shifts down with me. That is okay. It kind of depends on the drum you have. If you do that though, make sure you go off the principle we discussed in the first video, where your right hand is kind of bouncing on where those fingers go into your palm, and you're bouncing right there, and then you fold over. Because I started with the tips of my fingers and ended about there where those fingers go in, or maybe just a tiny bit lower. It depends on the drum. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the 8th note groove we discussed in the first lesson with a gliss going down on the front. Now when I say gliss, I'm going to use that term. That's just the sound of the pitch going down as we're sliding down the front of the cajon. Then after that, I'm going to play the 16th note groove we did in the first lesson with the slide going down. As you can tell, going between the 8th note fills and 16th note fills, we're not trying to be fancy. Again, we're working on tones. We're working on just playing as evenly as possible and moving at a steady pace with our foot. Alright guys, that's it for the second installment of cajon lessons. If you have any questions about the lesson, you can type those in the comment section below, or you can subscribe to the channel for future videos.